My wife Sarah told me her mother died on a Tuesday morning in September. I was getting ready for work when she came into the bathroom, phone in hand, tears streaming down her face. "It's Mom," she said, voice breaking. She passed away last night. Heart attack. She's gone." I dropped everything and held her. Sarah and her mother Carol had always been close. This was devastating. "I'm so sorry, honey. What do you need?" "What can I do?" "I need to go to Boston. Help Dad with arrangements. The funeral will probably be this weekend." "Of course. I'll come with you." "No." She pulled back quickly. "No. Dad specifically said he wanted to be just family. He's very private about grief. You understand, right?" It stung a little, but I nodded. "If that's what he needs." "How long will you be gone?" "Probably a week. Maybe more. There's the funeral, the will, settling the estate. It's gonna be a lot. Whatever you need. I'll handle things here." She booked a flight for that afternoon. I drove her to the airport, carried her bag, hugged her goodbye. "Call me when you land," I said. "And Sarah, I'm here if you need anything, day or night." "I know. Thank you. I love you." "I love you too." She disappeared through security, and I drove home, already planning how to support her through this. Flowers for the funeral, time off work to fly out, if she changed her mind about wanting me there, whatever she needed. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number with a Boston area code. "Hello, David? This is Carol, Sarah's mother." My blood went cold. "Carol?" "Yes, dear. I'm calling because Sarah was supposed to visit this weekend, and she hasn't confirmed her flight yet. I want to check if everything's okay." I sat down slowly. "Carol, Sarah told me you died. She said you had a heart attack last night. She flew to Boston this afternoon for your funeral." Silence on the other end. Then, "I'm very much alive, David. I spoke to Sarah 3 days ago, and she said she'd visit this weekend. She didn't mention anything about a funeral because, well, I'm not dead." "Are you sure you're Carol?" "Sarah's mother, Carol Henderson." "David, we've met a dozen times. I'm your mother-in-law. I'm calling from my home in Boston. I'm alive and confused about why my daughter would tell you otherwise." My mind was racing. "When did you last speak to Sarah?" "Sunday evening. She called to confirm she'd arrived Friday night. Said she needed a break from work rounds. A place called Meadowbrook Springs." I zoomed in on the map. Her location showed a specific address. The Grand Pine Resort. I looked it up. Luxury hotel. Romantic getaway destination. Couple spa packages. My wife had faked her mother's death to spend a week at a romantic resort. She wasn't alone. I called my best friend Marcus. He was a private investigator. "Marcus, I need help. Sarah lied about her mother dying to go somewhere. I need to know who she's with. Send me the details. I'll make some calls." I sent him everything. The resort name, the dates, her phone's location. 2 hours later, he called back. "David, she checked in yesterday under her maiden name. Sarah Henderson. The reservation is for 2 people. Suite 412. Booked for 7 nights. Who's the other person?" "Reservation doesn't say. But I called a contact who works there. Woman at the front desk remembers checking them in. Said it was a couple. Guy was tall, dark hair, late 30s. They were very affectionate." My chest felt tight. "You're sure?" "Positive." "David, I'm sorry. You wanted to get photos?" "No. I'll handle it. Thanks, Marcus." I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. Then I called my attorney, Richard Webb. Left a message about needing to discuss divorce proceedings. Then I booked a flight to Meadowbrook Springs for the next morning. Then I called Carol back. "Carol, it's David. I found out where Sarah is. She's not in Boston. She's at a resort with someone. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I think she's having an affair." Carol was quiet. Then, "Oh, David, I'm so sorry. What are you going to do?" "I'm going to confront her. But I need a favor. Can you not tell Sarah we've spoken? I need to handle this my way." "Of course. David, if you need anything, call us. We love you like a son." "Thank you, Carol." I packed a bag. Drove to the airport at 5 a.m. Caught the first flight out. By noon, I was in Meadowbrook Springs. Rented a car and drove to the Grand Pine Resort. It was exactly what the website promised. Luxury mountain lodge, spectacular views, couples everywhere. I checked in under my own name. Asked for a room with a view. Got room 508, 1 floor above Sarah's suite. Then I waited. At 6 p.m., I went down to the resort restaurant. Sat at the bar where I could see the entrance. Sarah walked in at 6:30 with a man I'd never seen before. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. His hand was on the small of her back. They were seated at a corner table. Candlelight, wine, the whole romantic setup. I watched them for 20 minutes. Watched him reach across the table and hold her hand. Watched her laugh at something he said. Watched them look at each other the way we used to look at each other. Then I paid my tab and went back to my room. I called Richard, my attorney. I'm looking at my wife having dinner with another man at a resort. She told me her mother died to cover this trip. I need to know my options. Document everything. Photos, receipts, witness statements. Then file for divorce immediately. The adultery gives us leverage. What about confronting her? That's up to you. But don't do anything that could be used against you later. Stay calm, get evidence, and let the law handle the rest. Understood. I took photos from across the restaurant. Time-stamped, clear shots of Sarah and the man together. Then I went back to my room and made a plan. The next morning, I was in the lobby at 8 a.m. Watched Sarah and the man come down for breakfast. I followed them at a distance. They went to the spa, couples massage. I took photos of them entering together. Then I went to the front desk. Excuse me, my wife and I are in suite 412 and I've locked myself out. Can you help? The clerk looked confused. Suite 412 is registered to Sarah Henderson. Are you Mr. Henderson? Yes, I lied. Showed my ID with my last name Davidson, not Henderson, but the clerk wasn't paying attention. I'll need to see ID matching the reservation name. Right, of course. Never mind. I'll just wait for my wife. I walked away before she could ask more questions. Instead, I went to the resort manager's office. I need to speak to someone about a guest. It's a sensitive matter. The manager, a woman named Patricia, invited me in. My name is David Davidson. My wife Sarah is staying here in suite 412 with another man. She told me her mother had died to cover this trip. I have proof. I showed her Carol's number. That's her mother. Very much alive. Would you be willing to confirm my wife checked in with someone? Patricia looked uncomfortable. Sir, I can't disclose guest information. I understand, but I'm filing for divorce. This evidence matters. I'm asking you to simply confirm what I already know. She checked in with a man. That's all I need. Patricia thought about it. I can confirm that suite 412 is occupied by 2 guests. That's all I can say. That's enough. Thank you. I spent the rest of the day gathering evidence. Photos of them at lunch. At the pool. Walking through the gardens holding hands. Every photo was time-stamped and geotagged. By evening, I had everything I needed. At 7 p.m., I was sitting in a hotel bar when Sarah and her companion walked in. I stood up and walked directly to their table. Sarah saw me and her face went white. David, where are you? How are you here? Your mother called me. You know, the one who's not actually dead. The man looked confused. What's going on? I'm David, Sarah's husband. And you are? He stood up. I'm Connor. I didn't know Sarah was married. She's wearing a wedding ring. You didn't notice? He looked at Sarah's hand. She'd taken the ring off. Sarah told me she was divorced. That was finalized last year. I almost laughed. We've been married for 8 years. Still very much legally married. In fact, I just filed for divorce this morning. My attorney served the papers to our house about an hour ago. Sarah stood up. David, let me explain. Explain what? That you faked your mother's death to spend a week at a resort with your boyfriend? That you told him we were divorced? What exactly are you going to explain? Connor stepped back. Sarah, you told me you were single. I am single. David and I have been over for months. Then why didn't you file for divorce? Why are we still married? Why do you still live in our house? She had no answer. Connor grabbed his jacket. I can't do this. Sarah, you lied to me about everything. Connor, wait. But he was already walking away. Sarah turned on me. You ruined everything. I ruined it. You faked your mother's death. I needed to get away. You're suffocating. Always checking on me. Always questioning where I am. Because apparently you're lying about where you are. Your mother is alive. Sarah, you told me she was dead. Do you understand how sick that is? People were staring now. Sarah noticed and lowered her voice. Can we talk about this in private? No. We'll talk through lawyers. I've filed for divorce. You'll be served officially when you get home. Whenever you decide to show up, since you're supposed to be at a funeral right now. David, please. I called your mother, Sarah. Carol knows you're not in Boston. She knows you lied. Your father knows too. They're devastated. Not that their daughter is getting divorced, but that you used Carol's death as a cover story. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. You told them. Carol called me asking where you were. She's expecting you for a visit this weekend. Remember? The visit you canceled to come here with Connor. I was going to visit her next weekend. Stop lying. Just stop. Everything that comes out of your mouth is a lie. I pulled out my phone and showed her the photos. I have photos of you with Connor. At dinner, at the spa, at the pool. All time-stamped. All geotagged. My attorney has copies. Your affair is documented. She stared at the photos. You followed me. Your mother called and told me you lied. I tracked your phone to this resort. I came here to see if it was true. And it was. I want to explain. There's nothing to explain. We're done. The divorce papers are filed. You'll get your copy. Don't contact me except through attorneys. I walked away. Left her standing in the bar with everyone staring. Went back to my room, packed my bag, and checked out. Drove to the airport and flew home. The next day, Richard called. Sarah's attorney contacted me. She wants to negotiate. What's she offering? She wants to keep the house, half your retirement, and alimony. No, she committed adultery. She lied about her mother dying. She gets nothing beyond what the law requires. That's what I told them. They're threatening to fight. Let them fight. We have evidence. Photos, her mother's testimony, the hotel records. She has nothing. Agreed. I'll send her counteroffer. She gets her personal belongings and her car. That's it. Over the next week, Sarah tried everything. She called from different numbers. She sent emails. She showed up at my work. I didn't engage. Everything went through Richard. Her attorney kept trying to negotiate. Richard kept refusing. Finally, 3 weeks later, they accepted our terms. Sarah got her car, her clothes, and her personal items. I kept the house, my retirement, and paid no alimony. The divorce was final 6 weeks after I'd confronted her at the resort. The day after the divorce was finalized, Carol called me. David, I want to check on you. How are you doing? I'm okay, Carol. Better than I expected. I'm so sorry about Sarah. About all of this. It's not your fault. She made her choices. She called me yesterday. Tried to explain why she said I was dead. Said she panicked, and it was the first thing she thought of. That's not an excuse. I know. I told her that. David, I want you to know that Bob and I still consider you family. You're always welcome here. Thank you, Carol. That means a lot. 6 months after the divorce, I heard through mutual friends that Sarah and Connor had broken up. Apparently, once he learned she'd lied about being divorced and had faked her mother's death, he couldn't trust her. Sarah had moved into a small apartment, working the same job, but struggling financially without my income to supplement hers. I felt nothing hearing about it. No satisfaction, no sympathy, just nothing. A year after the divorce, I met someone. Her name was Jennifer. She was a teacher, honest and straightforward. On our third date, she asked about my divorce. What happened? I told her the truth. All of it. She was quiet for a moment. She faked her mother's death. Yes, I don't even have words for that. I know. And her mother called you, completely by accident. She was calling to confirm Sarah's visit. That's almost poetic. The lie that exposed everything. It was the best phone call I ever got. If Carol hadn't called, I might never have known. Do you still talk to her? Sarah's mother. Sometimes. Birthday cards, holidays. Carol and Bob are good people. They were horrified by what Sarah did. I'm glad you have them. Me too. Jennifer and I took our time. No rush, no secrets, no lies. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony, close friends and family. Carol and Bob came. Sat in the front row. Hugged me after the ceremony. We're so happy for you, David, Carol said. You deserve this. Thank you for being here. We wouldn't miss it. Your family. 3 years after my divorce from Sarah, I got a call from an unknown number. David, it's Sarah. I almost hung up, but curiosity won. What do you want, Sarah? I wanted to apologize. For everything. For lying about Mom. For the affair. For all of it. You deserve better. Okay. Apology noted. I've been in therapy. Trying to understand why I did what I did. Why I lied so easily. And what did you learn? That I was selfish. That I wanted the security of being married, but the excitement of something new. That I took you for granted. That's accurate. I heard you got remarried. I'm happy for you. Thank you. David, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Truly sorry. I appreciate you saying that. I hope you find peace, Sarah. You too. She hung up. Jennifer came into the room. Was that her? Yeah. She apologized. How do you feel? Indifferent. She made her choices. I made mine. We both moved on. Good answer. That evening, we had dinner with Carol and Bob. They were in town visiting. How's Sarah doing? Bob asked carefully. She called today. Apologized for everything. Carol nodded. She's been working on herself. Therapy, self-reflection. I think she finally understands what she lost. I hope she finds happiness, I said, and meant it. Not because I care about Sarah, but because I was so happy with my own life that her happiness or unhappiness didn't affect me at all. You're a better person than I'd be, Bob said. I'm just grateful. If Sarah hadn't lied about Carol dying, if Carol hadn't called me, I might have stayed in that marriage for years. The lie freed me. Carol smiled. Then I'm glad I called. Even though the circumstances were awful. Me too. 5 years after the divorce, I ran into Sarah at a grocery store. She looked different. Older, tired. She was alone. David. Hi, Sarah. How are you? I'm good. You? Getting by. Working, living. It's quiet. That's not always a bad thing. No, it's not. She paused. I saw on Facebook that you and Jennifer have a daughter. Congratulations. Thank you. Her name is Emma. She's 2. That's wonderful. I'm happy for you. Really. I appreciate that. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. I should go, she said finally. Take care, Sarah. You too. I watched her walk away and felt nothing but gratitude that I'd gotten out when I did. That evening, Jennifer and I gave Emma a bath, read her stories, put her to bed. Then we sat on the couch, her head on my shoulder. I saw Sarah at the store today, I said. How was that? Fine. She looked sad. I felt nothing. That's healthy. I know. I just keep thinking about how different my life would be if Carol hadn't called that day. If I'd never found out about the lie. But she did call. And you did find out. And now you're here with me and Emma. Exactly where I want to be. She kissed me. Good answer. The next day was Sunday. Carol called for our weekly video chat with Emma. Emma's face lit up when she saw her grandmother on screen. Gamma. Hi, sweet girl. Did you have fun at the park today? Yes. Daddy pushed me on swings. I watched my daughter talk to her grandmother and felt overwhelming gratitude. Sarah had faked Carol's death to cover an affair. Instead, Carol's very alive phone call had exposed the truth and saved me from years of lies. Some people would call that karma. I called it grace. And I was grateful for it every single day. Sarah had tried to use her mother's death as cover for betrayal. Instead, her mother's life had become the catalyst for my freedom. That was the real story. Not revenge. Not even justice. Just truth revealing itself at exactly the right moment. And a life built on honesty instead of lies. That was worth more than anything Sarah could have taken from me. Because she took nothing I wanted to keep. And I gained everything I never knew I needed. A real partner. A real family. A real life. Based on truth from the very beginning. And that made all the difference.